Okay, David, 28 years after the miners' strike, and why are so many people still turning out to discuss Dirty 30?
Well, they're legends, aren't they? They're the Robin Hoods of Leicestershire. And I think the story, the legend of the Dirty 30 will just go on and on. The book, the folk song, now the film. Where does it go next?
Where does it go next?
A statue in Leicester.
The musical. The musical.
The musical.
Yeah. Tell us, give us a snapshot. Tell us the story of the Dirty 30 in just a second or two, just a couple minutes.
Right, 1984. Thatcher had planned for the strike very carefully, built up coal stocks, then provoked the NUM by shutting Corton Wood in South Yorkshire. Miners came out all over the country, apart from in South Derbyshire, Leicestershire, Nottinghamshire. 2,500 Leicestershire miners went to work. 30 miners stuck to the principle of not crossing a picket line and supporting your fellow worker, and came out on strike. They stayed out the whole year, and I admire them very much and was very proud to write their story.
What was your own involvement in the strike during that year?
I did a bit of fundraising. I used to go around every Sunday morning to 10 people and collect a 50p levy. And,
50p was 50p then?
Yes. Also collected food outside supermarkets. The last 10 copies of my children's book that I'd written, I donated to sell for the funds. But very peripheral compared with what a lot of people in Leicester were doing. They were really throwing their heart and souls into it. But I'm making up for it since.
Yeah. You know a lot about the whole of the coalfields, don't you? The whole of the Midlands coalfields.
I've written books on Leicestershire, Warwickshire, Nottinghamshire, Derbyshire, and another one, Staffordshire coalfields, and interviewed miners. Yeah.
And looking back on the strike now, do you think that the 30, when they had a hell of a year, do you think it was worth them doing?
Really, only they can say that, but I think what they did was very important, and I'm very proud that at least 30 people in Leicestershire did support the strike.
And Malcolm Pinniger, he was one of the leaders, well, he was the recognised leader of the strike. He died recently.
Yeah, he died on Good Friday.
Good Friday.
And actually on the day of his funeral, Rick Richmond, had a heart attack and was rushed into hospital on the day of Malcolm's funeral. Yeah. He's had a quadruple bypass and a pig's valve stuck in his aorta.
God. Is he okay now?
He's alive. Yeah. He's not ever so well.
What was interesting for me about getting to know the Dirty 30 and hearing the film was that Malcolm Pinniger was the leader, but the person who's now speaking for the Dirty 30 is Darren Moore, who was the youngest of the Dirty 30
He
at the time.
was very young. Actually, he was very academic. He was a management trainee at the time. And since he came out of the pit, he's done a degree and all sorts of things. Rico was always what Benny called hearts and flowers. He talked about the hardship of the miners and how they were suffering. Whereas Malcolm and his protege Darren would talk about what was behind it, what was the agenda that the government had. So in a way, he was more like Malcolm, and, like a younger version.
But what was interesting at the previous rally to do with the Dirty 30, it was
just a year ago.
It was a year ago. It was Malcolm's. Everybody knew it was Malcolm's last public appearance, and he was kind of passing the torch over to the younger generation to carry the message on of the Dirty 30.
Yes, but he started that during the strike, using Darren as his protege. It's Darren. I mean, they talked about Rico and those going to America. Darren did a speaking tour of Italy during the strike. Speaking in Turin and the car workers.
But he didn't. I mean, what was remarkable about some of the Dirty 30 was they didn't need to strike. I mean, because he was a management trainee, he wasn't in the same position as other people. And then there was Johnny, who was the only one out in his pit, which was just completely remarkable. One person out of a whole pit, with Johnny Gamble.
He had a sideline. He was a part-time bookie. So, and another one, Waggy Burton was used to go out catching rabbits and selling them around the pubs. They all had different ways of.
You'd have to survive that year.
And his children said they would never eat rabbit, but they didn't know all the turkey pies they were having were actually rabbit. So, yeah. But, Darren was interesting because he was doing a talk in Leicester during the strike, very young, pleasant young chap. And there was a lady from the SWP, Socialist Workers, took a shine to him, and they've now been married ever since the strike. Two kids.
A union? A union?
A union, yes.
Type of union.
She met him through the strike. It was one good thing to come out.
Yeah.